So let's put down the tarp a little bit. So first of all, the tarp is well centered. Seems like a pretty good hang. Tarp's not quite even though. Let's lower it on this side a little bit. That's very easy to adjust. Alright, so now we need our stakes, which I've got kept in here for now, and some other goodies. Okay, so let's pull the tarp out. You don't need to pull the whole thing out at once. You can do this half at a time. It's going to provide some shelter. Absolutely not necessary today. Do it this way. Alright. Now what I've found around here is that there's usually soil everywhere. So the easiest thing for me to do, I'll say first when I'm hanging the tarp, I always start with the way the wind is blowing. So the wind is blowing towards. Now the easiest thing for me to do to adjust the tension on the tarp is to just put the stake anywhere, tie a slippery half hitch on it. I'm attracting a lot of attention out here from all these people. Nobody's come up and talked to me yet. I think that's the power of having a camera attached to your head. Everybody assumes you're doing something and they don't want to bother you, which I'm okay with. Alright, and then just pull that tight. We're going to move on to the next side. So we're keeping each side under a bit of tension. Also, the advantage of having a camera on your head is that nobody thinks you're homeless. Okay, so again, we can do this in the air actually. Just tie a little slippery half hitch on this. And another little slippery half hitch here. And now, let's pull it to where it's needed. Alright, to the rest now. So again, we'll start on the side the wind is blowing from. And I find almost always you have to retension things. So, like I say, just a very simple way of doing things here. Could be more advanced, but not quite there yet. Like I say, things are very loose right now. So we're just going to go around and move the stakes to tighten it up. And we want to go out at about a 45-degree angle. Test things out. Okay, it's already pretty good. We got some more guy lines. It's fairly tight. Let's see. My method may be problematic here. It may not be getting as much tension as I really need. Have a truly tight tarp. But for the moment, it's functional. I have to find a clever way to keep these lines tight in the future. Thought about just using a prusik on the end, so it could be sort of like a tension method. All right, now we got the doors. I could add the doors, but I think right now what I'm going to do is just tie the doors up. Just a little slippery half hitch. This will keep them from flopping around. Z-Packs added this hook in the middle. There's one on either side. I used to run a structural ridge line under the bottom, which has certain advantages in cases like this where it's a little bit closer to one tree than the other. Maybe you'd like it to be exactly between them. With a single ridge line suspension, you can do that. You can shift where your tarp is, put a little extra cord on one side compared to the other. But this way works too. One more door. Alright, so there we have it. So that's fairly tight. It's a little bit loose on this side though. What's happened here? We got some sag there in the middle. We don't like sag. Don't need any sag. How can we get rid of that? Let's see if tightening this one does anything for it. Maybe tightening here. Alright. So to get this thing really tight, we'd need to add another cord there. Maybe add some pullouts here now. As it is, we've got a good bit of space underneath. Almost enough to stand under. Enough that I can walk with only a slight shift in my head. So there you have it. That's a Z-Packs Cuban fiber rectangular tent. Pretty custom design. That's a Grand Trunk Nano 7. I've added this structural ridge line to the hammock. I've added these whoopee slings to the hammock using toggle suspension. It's pretty nice. So now I believe it is time for me to sit back and enjoy a good book.